Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia.
We've been missing for a couple of weeks, but won't be the normal. I know it's been kind of sporadic over the past couple months. We've missed a week or two here and there, but
Yeah,
we
we've definitely both been in an interesting season of life.
yeah, definitely wouldn't say we intend to taper off the podcast though. It's just been kind of a very
Oh yeah,
busy
not at all.
time. So if anyone has thought that, not so.
Stay in it.
Stay in it. Yeah, yeah. Well, we just literally hopped on here and said I really don't know what to. I didn't have anything to talk about. I have tons of things to talk about, but you had something real specific that was hitting you. So
Well, it just it you were we were kind of just catching up because James and I haven't even had time to, like, I don't know, be friends.
yeah,
Really. Just all the things, all the plates here recently. But
yeah,
we were kind of just talking about the interesting dynamics with people and
yeah,
engaging with people, and how it's interesting when there's a pivot or a shift. It's almost like you use this phrase, and I think it's so interesting, like the wolves kind of come out.
yeah,
And yeah, like every time I think of wolves, I think of like multiple things, right? Like I think of like false teachers or false voices or false belief systems,
yeah,
false um something that's actually trying to devour something that is true of the Lord.
yeah.
And in the spirit realm, i
Hmm.
don't think I don't think people are wolves. I think that
Sure.
the entities that sometimes people agree with are wolves for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But what I was sharing with James was that I had this dream. uh Man, it's probably been 2 weeks ago, but I had this dream that there was a wolf and a pack of wolves, but there was only one that was actually allowed in to I was like driving an RV,
Hmm.
and I
Yeah.
was like observing it, but I was also driving it. But there was a wolf that had divided the driver's seat from the rest of the house, so much so that like you could see the frame. And I heard a voice, a man's voice in the dream. He said, "Look in your hand." And I looked in my hand and there was tomatoes. And he said, "Throw them into the wheat field." And I look out to my right and we're passing a wheat field. And so I
Hmm.
threw them out. And when I threw out these tomatoes, um, the wolf, it was like a magnet. It got sucked out, and the wolf instantly like evaporated.
Hmm.
Um, and the RV actually collapsed, and it became one, and it
Yeah.
like it could flow. Like there was no more division, if you will. But it made me think about how, whether it's with people or false beliefs or false doctrines that you believe, like it really can cause a division within your person, and even kind of sabotage the direction of your life, because it was dividing, right? The driver, somebody was driving the vehicle.
Yeah.
um but the key is to actually release unconventional fruit. And I was thinking about like tomatoes. For the longest time I thought they were vegetables,
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
um but they're actually a fruit, which is like actually so the fruit of God. So like, Bob Jones said this a long time ago, that tomatoes, which I didn't know this prior to me having the stream, I just actually stumbled upon it and found it.
Yeah.
But he said that tomatoes they represent kindness. And I just thought that was brilliant. Like when you actually sow the kindness of God into the wheat field, into the harvest, right, into people, it draws out the false lies, the false belief systems, the false voices, the false accusations, the false, like, everything that is counterintuitive, the thing that actually tries to take out the sheep, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it just made me think of, um, because Jesus called the wolves, he was talking about the religious leaders,
Hmm.
um, but allowing like the fruit of God to draw those things out.
Yeah.
And I didn't fight with the wolf. I didn't engage with the wolf. It was like the key is to actually sow those things, to
Hmm.
just sow it out into the field. It wasn't
Yeah.
even to address or like engage with anything false.
Yeah.
Um, which that's been another thing that like Zach and I have talked a lot about here recently. It's just like looking at everything through the lens of hope,
Hmm.
and every single thing that your life, like what's happening in your life through the lens of like, well, what has the Lord told you?
Yeah.
What has the Lord led you through, and what is he establishing within you? And that's what you filter everything else through.
Hmm.
So it's not through, okay, I'm having these false accusations or I'm having these false whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's instilling trust within me. He's actually drawing out these false belief systems. He's drawing out all these things, and not taking the bait of the swirl. I
Yeah.
think that's how people truly live in the Psalm 1. You know, actually been meditating a lot on Psalm 1. Um, I'm just gonna read it.
Do
If
it.
anybody wants to like kind of sit in it as I read it, kind of let it wrap around you. But it says, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the paths of sinners. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bring forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf shall not wither, and whatever he does, he shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but they are like chaff, which the wind drives away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the for the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." And I think it's so interesting. It's just that stark contrast
Hmm.
between um literally light and dark,
Yeah.
right? It's not even about like, are you godly or are you ungodly?
Yeah.
When I read that, you know, how I read that is um like I love that first verse where it says, "Who not walks not in the counsel of the ungodly," like doesn't
Yeah.
actually take worldly wisdom whatsoever.
Right.
There's no engagement. Like, yo, you can give me all your business advice that you want, but I'm not taking it
Yeah.
because I'm not aligned with that.
Yeah.
And then it says, "Nor stands in the path of sinners,
Hmm.
nor sits in the seat of the scornful." I thought that was brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
won't even stand in the pathway of people. Like,
Hmm.
you don't stand against people.
Yeah.
If you're not standing in the path against a sinner, somebody who's actually like, they don't know what they're doing, you don't stand against them. You're not up against them. Kind of like in the
Yep.
dream about the wolf. It wasn't about going against the wolf.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
was about delighting in the law. It doesn't even sit in the seat of scornful, like, won't even take that place,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Which made me think about, I've been sitting in this whole revelation about, I've been sitting in the crucifixion, to be honest,
Hmm.
and just kind of going into that, reading through it, but that actually makes me think of the Lord himself.
Yeah.
Like, he never sat in the seat of accusation, never engaged in it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like,
It's true.
even when they tried to get him to go into that, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
to defend himself or anything else. He just,
Yeah, he's just silent.
yeah, it's completely silent.
Yeah. Hmm.
So much so that it like bothered the crap out of people.
I know it.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like sometimes there actually is a place of being silent.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's the key.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
oh, and the other thing, what I thought was brilliant, right? So it says he doesn't sit in the seat of the scornful,
Uh-huh.
right? It talks about, and when they come to the place of Golgotha, so I'm using this as like a parallel, like in Matthew 27, where he says they come to the place called Golgotha, that is to say, the place of the skull, where they gave him sour wine, mingled it with gall to drink, literally bitterness.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, drink mixture here. Let
Yeah.
your life be mixed here. Let there be a little bit of like wine, which is the new covenant, and
Hmm.
gall
Yeah.
or bitterness. And it says, but when he had tasted it, he would not drink it.
Yeah.
And it hit me so hard. He
Mm.
won't like even that, like, he wouldn't even taste the bitterness. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as he tasted it, he was like, I want no part of that.
Yeah.
Um, and it hit me so hard. It's like, that is actually our play.
Yeah.
There's no bitterness. There's no root here. There's no, I don't know. I think of that stupid phrase, like the gall. Oh, yeah. I don't know
Oh,
why
the
I always
gall.
think of,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
I
like
know what
the
you're talking
gall
about.
of them. I mean, it represents the gallbladder, which is actually like in
Huh.
Chinese medicine, it's actually the root of bitterness. If people have gallbladder issues, they actually have,
Really?
yeah, it's undealt with bitterness, um,
Oh,
which I think is brilliant, to be
that is pretty
honest.
brilliant. Yeah.
Um, that
Hmm.
the gall is actually directly connected to bitterness, and
Yeah.
but it was bitter in tasting, so he was like, "No, I'm not. I will not partake of that."
Right.
As he's literally being mocked,
Yep.
he's like, "I won't have any part of bitterness."
Yeah. Won't do it. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it just,
Hmm.
and it was the what he sowed was kindness, man.
Yeah.
That's how he sowed.
That's cool.
That's what he released, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's cool.
so those were things I've been chewing on.
Yeah. It's
Um,
good. Been chewing on tomatoes.
that's true.
It's funny though. Sorry, I'm really tired. What's funny, I've actually been thinking about tomatoes recently.
Oh, that is funny.
Funny as it sounds, I've been thinking about like wanting to cook with tomatoes, like sun-dried tomatoes for some reason. And Sunday after church, I got some pizza. And I got this slice of pizza that had tomatoes on it, and I was like, I wonder how you make them taste that way. But
That's so
it's
funny.
just kind of funny. Uh, no, everything you said though is right. That's all true. That is all true. And ooh, sorry.
No, you're good.
It's that kind
You
of
know,
stuff. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd be yawning too, except I literally just took a 30-minute nap and it's 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I took a couple hour nap yesterday. I got home and just wiped out. Like ate some pizza, went home and slept. And I woke up probably six something,
Good for you.
probably. Yeah. And then I went to the gym and then came back home and worked on arts and crafts until 2 in the morning, and my schedule's messed up. But anyways, no, I woke up this morning, I went to work, and I went into the office and I got hit with Isaiah 55:5,
Hmm.
which says, Behold,
Funny.
you shall call a nation that you do not know, and a nation that did not know you shall run to you because of the
Mm,
Lord your God and of the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you.
mm.
But it was kind of like what you're saying. It's like, we throw the tomatoes out. We don't fight those wolves. And even what Daniel was saying yesterday, the key of David applying the cross and applying him to anything that comes within our sphere, it unravels and unlocks and showcases that favor, what that scripture was talking about.
Hmm.
Um, that really is what changes everything is those tomatoes.
Yeah.
And you can't find out if that's true or not unless you actually some wolves show up.
Hmm.
Then you can find out, but it takes going there. It takes you going there whether voluntarily or not, but
Yeah, you actually get to confront the thing.
you do. Yeah, you get to, and you get to do it the life way.
Hmm.
And it does change people. It changes you and changes people, but you have the fear of the Lord in it, that awareness and reverence for him. If you have that all the time, then every situation's like that. Everything
Yeah.
has that
I
purpose
think,
or change or redemption in it.
mm,
But
yeah, it's almost like the training is actually to move through your whole life with complete transparency, with complete vulnerability,
yeah,
and no matter what comes up at you, no matter what situations come or swirl around you, never stepping out of the fruit,
yeah,
choosing the fruit of God above all else,
yep.
to be in him, to abide in him. I don't know. I troll Twitter a lot. I
Oh,
freaking
do
love
you?
it. Oh my gosh. I just sit there, and especially right now in such the heightened,
Oh, yeah. Political
we're in such, oh my gosh,
landscape.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, what I mean by troll is I watch all these
yeah,
people. I watch both sides, right?
yeah,
Because I'm just like, it's so fascinating to
yeah.
me. But the ability that people take to try and twist something at any given moment to
Hmm.
fit their own belief system, to fit
Oh,
their own
yeah,
theology,
yeah,
to fit a narrative. Um, and
yeah.
it's like,
At the cost of truth and even reality, a lot of times.
yeah,
It's like, that's not even
very,
true. How are you okay with that?
yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, so far beyond. But one of the things Zach and I kind of talk a lot about is just like, dude, it doesn't matter whatever, if it is spoken out of fear, it doesn't matter if it's right.
Yeah,
It's not true.
yeah, right.
If
Yep.
it's spoken from that place
Hmm.
of control, manipulation,
Yeah,
fear mongering,
yeah.
like
It's from the gallbladder if you do that.
literally. And
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't matter. And I've seen it with both sides, like everybody.
Uh-huh.
There's
Yep.
just such this fear thing
Yeah.
that's like it's been fun. I'm like I actually am excited about this election season. I just,
Uh-huh.
I know we've joked a lot about it, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
there's so much opportunity is what I see.
Hmm.
There's so much opportunity for growth. There's so much opportunity to sow kindness into people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
because
there is.
everybody's, I mean, everybody I know, anyways, just post so much crap on even social media,
I know it. Yeah.
and it's just like,
Kind of exhausting.
well, you see the pain. I think
Yeah.
more than anything, you see the pain that drives people,
Yeah.
and it gives you so much compassion, dude.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
It's
starting to
crazy.
really
I've even
enjoy.
seen I've even seen people that I wouldn't even expect chime in and say stuff this year specifically.
Oh yeah.
It's like goodness. I mean, it's normally people that wouldn't say stuff are getting on there and voicing it, but
But I also think it's good because those some voices,
yeah,
like when they kind of that thing, like when you actually stand for what is true,
yeah,
not for what is right. To
yeah,
me, those are vastly different things.
yeah,
Um, because he's the way, the truth, and the life, and it's gonna actually be saturated with his his spirit, his fruit.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I also think I get a kick out of it, mainly
yeah,
because there's so much like elitism that people don't even realize.
yeah. It really is. I'll stick to this. It really is a giant spell that's cast over the country.
Oh yeah.
Because if it's coming from that place of, like you said, truth, and it's not tainted with, I'm right, you're wrong, and pride and all that stuff, there's a place for it if it's that, if it's not out of fear and stuff like that. And
Totally.
I mean, it is important and there's obviously value to it and all that stuff, but overall, it's just it seems like a massive spell is cast over everybody and everybody falls under it till it is over and the dust
Mm-hmm.
settles. And then it's like, then we go back to normal. But until then, people whipped and pulled around by it. And
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
if they can separate themselves from it, even for brief periods of time, to not even think about it or be concerned about it. That there's a part of me that I can't stand that. It literally is like a spell, and it's always been that way. It's like
Mm.
every 4 years, it's like there goes the fairy dust over the country, and everyone gets to pick a side, and it's the primary focus of everything. I mean, it's like, what if, I don't know, what if, not to sound cheesy, but it's like, what if God had that level of attention from everybody? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
what if everybody collectively poured their intention and their energy into something?
Yeah.
I don't know, collectively together, but it's always this. It's like everybody's like so separate, but so on the same page because we're all under the same blanket of whatever. It's like a big spell to me. But,
Yeah.
this is a
One
lot of
of the
my
things,
personal opinions about it.
yeah.
But it's like, and of course, it's like football season to me. Uh, I mean, I used to go to work and I would go in and like everyone's like, it's nothing but football all day. Like, what team is what? People paint themselves and all that stuff. And it's just like, there's nothing else that's the sole topic of conversation is like football. Anyways, it kind of robs people of connection, but
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite thing that I've seen
mhm,
is like, well, I think I feel like things are becoming more and more and more clear for people
mhm,
of like, well, I don't want to go fully down this rabbit trail, but I'll touch on it a little bit.
yeah,
But just this whole concept, like Israel and America are the only covenant nations,
mm,
like, and that, we have to align with Israel because, I mean, I know that's controversial,
yeah,
but to me, it feels so elite. It feels
yeah,
elitism
yeah.
because it's like, what about everybody else?
I know.
It definitely feels like this hierarchy. And do I think that there's a place of absolute freedom and like that the Lord has breathed into this country? Absolutely. But I also
Yeah,
think that about other countries.
yeah,
I also think that about the whole world because he didn't just come to save America and he didn't
no,
come to just save the Jews.
yeah,
Like his heart was for the whole world.
yeah. That's true.
And
That's
to
true.
think that his entire attention is just on this election,
Yeah,
I think is absolutely insanity,
I do
to be
too.
honest.
Yeah, I do too.
Um, he's not he's not concerned about it the way that
Yeah,
we are,
right.
you know? That's why I think Philippians 4 is such an important scripture right now.
Yeah,
Is like cast your cares upon the Lord because he cares for you.
Yeah.
Like, he actually cares about you, dude.
Yeah.
He cares about all these things, but he's not his ways are higher than ours, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
His mind, his thoughts are higher than ours, and I think it's such an invitation to take our minds higher,
Hmm.
to get out of what feels like the political rat race.
Yeah.
I mean, have your thoughts and your beliefs and your, you know,
Sure.
if you feel like you really need to vote, like do that.
Yeah.
But I think to take away what the Lord is doing here in the moment,
Yeah.
here and now, it's so much of that like the kingdom of heaven is so much smaller than you're
Hmm.
thinking,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like the kingdom of heaven is at hand. If you're like projecting what's going to happen November 5th and your attention is so far in the future, you actually are robbed of what's happening in the day.
Yeah. Definitely.
What's the Lord establishing in the day?
Yeah. It's kind of Old Testament too. It's like we don't want to talk to you in person. We want a king to handle that. We want a king to make our decisions for us and be the connection point for us. We want a
Mm,
priest or a king. It feels very Old Testament to me. Even the
mm,
whole, even the whole Israel and America, kind of the elite thing. It just kind of goes. It kind of all kind of falls back into a pre-Jesus, pre-New Covenant view of the Old Testament is what it feels like. A lot of it.
mm.
Um, but you're right though. It's like the kingdom's at hand. It's all the point of it. It's all around you. It's for everybody. It's like day to
Yeah,
day. We've talked about that before. It's up there. It is. There is so
yeah,
much potential in the White House and everywhere else, but it's also just as much there is here. I mean, you could do something tomorrow. Some crazy thing could happen that changes the entire world because you
totally.
slipped on a banana peel, like literally. But it goes back to kind of that fear of the Lord too, is the beginning of wisdom, awareness that He's with you and He's in you at all times, wherever you're at.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's bigger, but
I mean,
I try not to be nasty about it, and I'm not all
yeah.
the time. Like I understand, and I'm patriotic sometimes. I'm thankful for what we have.
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
super thankful for it and for what people did for us, and the people that have
Hmm.
gone before us and what's been paved and made. And
Yeah.
super thankful for it. And, more so too. Even as I get older, I think about it more and more. The sacrifices, but also I don't like seeing people zapped and trying to hit each other and hurt each other. I don't like seeing
Oh, totally.
divisive. I don't like seeing the division of it.
I think that's like for me, that's the root of all things.
Yeah,
I hate the division. I
yeah,
hate
me
the
too.
division that it brings. I hate the how nasty people get.
Yeah.
There's just like it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're overly vocal, then
Hmm. Yeah,
people get nasty and it's just like, dude, that's
yeah, it's gross.
mm-hmm.
It robs them of their own person too. It's like you're talking to when it comes to political time. It's like okay, you're talking to one of two people.
Yeah.
You're talking to a blue person or a red person. You're not
I'm a
talking to
purple
that
person.
individual person anymore. Yeah, but it's just the vast majority. It's like you're
Yeah.
not talking to that individual person anymore. It's that whole ideas have people thing. People don't have ideas, ideas have people. That's part of the spell. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
you know, I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing people robbed of that. It's like with all the identity stuff too, even racial stuff too. It's like you're so much more than a color or a culture or
Mm-hmm.
your ancestry. It's like don't discount yourself like that. Don't discount yourself by claiming, that to be your highest.
Yeah, your highest self.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. That's
Mm-hmm.
sad to me because there's everybody's so much more than that. so much
Yeah,
more
dude.
than a gender or whatever. It's like you're deeper than that. It's like, why claim that as your primary, identification? But we'll see what happens, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, just on a side, this is my personal, just
Yeah.
I am excited about the exposure of the legitimate destruction that has been happening, like in our food system, in our water
Oh,
system, like
yeah. Yeah.
the way that people are actually starting to call this on the forefront to where it has a
Yeah.
national stage.
Right.
And it actually is about the health of people,
Yeah.
because I do believe that is so kingdom,
Yep. I do too.
that he cares about the physical health of people. He cares about the wholeness, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone on like actually physically healing people if it
Right.
wasn't a value to him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And I think that's my favorite thing that is happening in this whole deal that
Mm.
has not been seen before
Yeah.
is the national stage of people recognizing like health matters,
Yeah.
wholeness matters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of exposing. I really think it is the Babylonian system to try and control and
Yeah.
manipulate and dumb down people. But
No, definitely. It's like
um,
a, yeah. It's like a
all
corral
the
for
other
cattle.
policies, I'm like, whatever. But
Right.
I mean, granted, my whole life is about health and wellness, so
Yeah. Didn't they find
I'm in
some,
that vein. So
didn't they find like a bunch of lead in the water? Did you see
in
that?
Tyler, they did. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't, yeah. I
Fun
saw
fact,
something
it's already been in the water.
probably for a long, long time.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They just don't have to report it.
Okay. Yeah.
There's also another chemical in the water. Oh, I'm gonna screw it up, but I think it's called atrazine.
Uh-huh.
Um, this is nationwide too, but this thing called atrazine that
Hmm.
it actually has been proven to convert frogs from females and make them males. No,
Really?
males to females.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it makes them shift genders. Um,
Hmm.
but they've been seeing the effect of that because it's an estrogen driver.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it's males to females, but
Wow.
yeah, uh,
I
but
feel like
they've
I
been
heard somebody
seeing.
talk about that like years ago
Yeah, I mean
about like bottled
it's an
water
actual
or
thing. Yep. Well, the
wow.
bottled water is because of the plastics and the microplastics in the,
Yeah.
not just bottled water, but microplastics that are in everything.
Interesting.
Um, it actually creates more estrogen,
Huh.
which is why young girls are going into puberty earlier.
Okay.
That's why you'll see men be a little bit more feminine these days, is
Yeah.
because of the microplastics. Because,
Yeah.
anyways,
Hmm.
but I love that they're calling that out, and they've been dumping that in
Yeah.
the water for quite some time.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
so I'm a big fan of water filters. But
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I had a I had a guy, a long time ago, gave me a book about oh, what was it? Was it fluoride?
oh yeah,
It was what the Nazis were trying to pollute the water with to control people.
yeah.
Was it
So
fluoride? The stuff
fluoride,
that's in toothpaste? The
yeah,
what is
it's
that?
fluoride.
Is it fluoride? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
interesting.
It's actually a natural derivative of the earth. Not that
Really?
anybody cares. I'm just a nerd. Like, you're getting into Marley a
I
nerd
knew I
mode.
would get some answers if I brought that up. I knew I would get some
Golly.
explanation.
Sorry.
Interesting. No, it is an interesting thing though, because we've kind of when it comes to food and water and resources and stuff, humanity kind of been treated like cattle.
Hmm.
Even fast food and stuff, it's like a conveyor belt of yeah, and the whole cycles and everything. But it is cool that health will be on the forefront of you know some changes. That is cool. We do.
Yeah.
People need to be healthy and taken care of and responsible for sure.
Here's the fun fact about fluoride is that once it's in the water, it is never 100% removed.
Really.
It can be reduced up to 99.9%,
Huh.
but it will never actually have 100% scan
Oh gosh.
where there's no fluoride.
So we need some like heirloom water that
Well,
has never been touched by fluoride.
yeah. I mean, the system that we have that, the water company I own, actually,
Mhm.
we have been able to remove 99.9%. But
Yeah.
um
Hmm.
but the interesting thing about fluoride that I think is interesting that they so many people have pushed
Hmm.
is that fluoride was just chemically modified, but it's actually an element of the earth.
Okay.
The element of the earth, it's called fluorine. You can look this up.
Huh.
Um, and fluorine itself is actually very good for you. But when they've chemically changed it, that's what's made it very toxic. And it's a
Hmm.
neurotoxin now. And that's what actually causes the brain, the pineal gland. So the
Yeah.
thing that actually causes you to have visions, it numbs it.
Yeah.
Basically, it dumbs it down. It doesn't allow, it's also what affects your hormones because your pineal gland is, anyways.
Is that the part that produces DMT?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that was what was in that book too years ago. They were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So DMT, for people who don't know, it is actually a chemical that your body makes that most
Hmm.
people will go and drink to have a psychedelic experience.
Yeah,
But your body actually already makes it so you can
produces
have your
it.
own
Yeah,
spiritual encounters. It is,
yeah.
some people call it the God seed in the brain,
Hmm.
but
Which is
it
all
is
kind of
how,
biblical when you think about it too.
uh-huh. Well, I think the Lord actually designed our bodies to actually
Yeah,
produce its own ability to connect into the spirit. Like
yeah,
that is actually how it's done. That's
yeah,
why the screen of your imagination is so important, what you look at, what you think about,
yeah,
because it all actually affects that pineal gland and how the body releases DMT.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's cool. It's
sorry, you got on
fascinating.
my some of my favorite topics besides the Lord.
No, it's good. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, cool.
But I think opening, like allowing yourself to open up to all these other like ideals of health, I think is really important. Like, so many people are just like, oh yeah, I work out and I eat healthy, or like I move my body, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe that's one very small,
Yeah.
that is a component, but
What, when do you feel like peak? When do you feel that you are like peak level healthy? Like, what is your kind of like system or routine when you're feeling like top of the line?
you mean not 26 weeks pregnant?
If you can recall, yeah.
No, I definitely, if I am eating clean, so I mean like fruits, veggies,
Yeah.
proteins, having protein first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
I'm moving 6 to 7 days a week
Yeah.
in any capacity. So that's like even going for 45. I love going for 45-minute walks.
Yeah.
Um, Drinking water. Like I was just talking to a buddy of ours just the other day. I swear I'm not trying to hype my business up at all. It's just funny that he said this. But he was like, yo, once you start drinking y'all's
Hmm.
water,
Yeah.
he was like, I was on it like solid for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then
Hmm.
I forgot to go get some again. And he was like, it was like water didn't, he was like, it didn't taste the same. And I was
Mm.
like, I didn't feel hydrated.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like when your
Mm,
body actually starts to get hydrated and you're in that rhythm of
yeah,
hydration,
yeah,
it's a whole different ballgame
huh,
when you're in that rhythm of hydration. And then
yeah,
not being, when you start drinking more bottled water or
yeah.
sodas or whatever.
And plastic and
Uh-huh.
embalming
Yeah.
fluid. Yeah,
Yeah, I love embalming fluid. It's my favorite. But
it is. It's great. Yeah, I've
yeah. But
noticed
anyways,
when I eat a lot of like whenever I take my food with me or whatever, if I
hmm
just add like more fiber, like I
yeah,
eat spinach with every, little hunk of protein or chicken or steak, whatever I eat. If I add like vegetables to it,
yeah.
like a significant amount, even with every meal, if I've just got like a little Ziploc baggie of spinach, I feel like light and airy and clean.
hmm
That and drinking a lot of water. Uh, I
Fiber
work,
is one of the most underrated
yeah,
components of
yep,
health.
yep. That's what I was thinking. You feel so much better from it.
Oh yeah.
But we need to do a healthy episode and talk about healthy stuff.
Oh, that'd be
It might
fun.
actually be good to just kind of hit some bullet points. Could be a little, we talked about did we talk about doing a health guide at some point? I think we
Yeah.
talked about it at some point, have a little plan or something, but it would be fun to get on here and just talk about it and share some advice. That'd be good.
Yeah. I will never claim to be a health expert, but I know a lot
Yeah,
about a
I
little.
don't either. That's why I say you can share the stuff you know. I just think it'd
No,
be good though.
I know a little about a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, that's interesting, dude. That's funny that you say about the fiber. That's
hmm
been kind of like a focal point of mine recently. That
Yeah.
and fruit.
Yeah, fruit too. Blah. Yeah. Lots of
Yeah, it's
apples
just
and blueberries, a lot of them. I
mm,
noticed, I'm guessing it's because I'm very conscious about like how I feel and stuff.
hmm
And I'm getting to the point where I kind of like determine like, okay, I ate this yesterday. That's why I feel like this today.
Oh yeah.
It's like I had pizza yesterday, and I think pizza literally it's amazing, but I think it makes me feel nasty and greasy, but it also is like kind of a depressant, I think, which is funny if I eat, too much of it for sure. But the days that I load up on like spinach and vegetables and stuff like that, and I eat really clean, like the next day I feel 10 times better.
Yeah, you've got way more sustained energy, I think.
Yeah. Starting to pay attention to those little things though.
Mm,
But
that's smart.
yeah, it's good. Well,
Yeah.
good.
Well, this was fun.
Cool.
I'm glad we got off on that rabbit trail. That was fun.
Yeah, that's good. It's always fun. We'll
If
see if
anybody if anybody wants to go off on a little rabbit trail or find a rabbit hole and dive into water and the effects of water on your body and in your system, and I encourage you to do it because your brain would be absolutely blown.
yeah.
Just because water is in everything, right?
Yeah.
So how we wash our clothes in it, we wash our dishes with it, we bathe in it. It only takes 10 seconds for chlorine to enter into your system. So,
Hmm.
I don't, for those of us in Tyler, it's such high levels of chlorine, you know, I don't know anybody that takes a 10-second shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just do your own research more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, maybe people may want to do a health centric episode, a water centric episode.
Yeah, if you, hey,
Anybody
if you,
listens to this,
yeah,
let us know. We'll be down to talk about anything. I'm kind of like we could, shifting a little bit. We could health is a thing we could go on. We could do bring Dr. Judd back on, and we never talked about the King James Bible. We never talked
yeah,
about
man.
that episode that we had talked about doing. Um,
You know what's funny? I started watching, this is just a side note, maybe you can
Uh-huh.
clip this out. It just, you were talking about Dr. Judd. I was
Yeah.
looking up some stuff today about Göbekli Tepe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm just such a freaking history nerd.
Yeah.
Um, but Graham Hancock has a new video on Netflix called The Ancient Apocalypse.
Huh.
His season two is out, but
Is it a good one?
he's focusing on the Americas.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Okay. Let's try that one out.
Um, but I was looking up Göbekli Tepe because of the region um of where it was at,
Yeah.
because there's like some connections
Hmm.
supposedly that's part of the Tower of Babel, or could be connected to the Tower of Babel,
Yeah.
but it could also be connected to the city of Ur.
Hmm.
Anyways, there were just several things that I was just like,
Yeah.
I randomly heard these bits and pieces, so I was doing a little research today.
Yeah.
But you
Interesting.
said Dr. Judd because I was like,
Yeah.
I was thinking about how we should bring him back on.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I miss it.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.